Okay, thanks for that. Sorry, we had the mic wasn't connected properly, but it's now working. Great. No! After all that. Anyway.
They missed
the conversation of they're asleep.
Essentially, yeah. So just to recap, you guys are heading on towards this structure, which you presume would be Halfrach given the distance. It's a large tower with a humanoid statue on top and a large building. It's about half the size of the tower, but much larger than any building you'd be expected to find out here. And while Loxodon falls asleep and starts snoring at the tiefling within the carriage, you wordlessly leave the horses there. And as you get closer, you do spot some lit torches. So this larger building that you've seen, you can see there must be some kind of there must be some kind of complex to it. There must be a compound of some kind. For there appears to be silhouetted walls around this much larger building. As you get closer, you can see it's a warehouse of some kind. It's about sort of 20 feet high. And about 30 feet wide. It's quite a kind of big old structure. Yeah, there's torches lit in the courtyard, and also ahead of you there is another building at the foot of this tower. This one only 1 story high, and it has basically a lamppost lit outside there.
So I'm still just a bit distracted. When we had no sound, everyone just saw you doing a really bad YMCA while trying to describe that building.
That's essentially what happened. Yes, yeah.
So as I pull up the carriage, I'm gonna get the others out back because I'm not just gonna run around town and leave them asleep in the back of the carriage.
Mm-hmm.
Bad parenting. So I'm going
crack a window open.
Yeah. So I'm gonna crack it open and start way off. So just gonna let them know we've found was it warehouse?
Yeah, it's a warehouse. Building. It's gone on your left.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start to wake you up and get you out.
Halfrach?
50-50.
Okay.
It's in the right direction, so probably. Bigger buildings than I expect for it, but probably the right city, town, village.
Let's take it.
Settlement.
Tents.
I get out, I look around, do I see person on top of the statue thing?
You can make a perception check and see if you can. You don't have dark vision though, so this is going to be tricky. So
it's alright, it's natural one, so it's fine.
Well, I was going to say you roll with disadvantage, but you've got a 1, so.
It's kind of light in the carriage. He's gone out to the darkness. Adjusting
no night
still.
eyes at all.
I mean, wow, it is dark. So, I mean, you couldn't even see the carriage door as you got out. Like that's how pitch black it was out there.
It's like an episode of Game of Thrones in here.
Can't
see a damn
I'm going to
thing.
need a hand getting around here, I think. Yeah.
Can I act as your guide, tiefling?
I would have
Seeing eye
thank
tiefling.
you, yeah.
In which case, you can make a perception check as well, Fleet.
Thank you. 8.
8. Okay. As you step out with your dark vision,
Are you a paladin? And you have -1 wisdom
there's charisma for paladins.
for perception.
No. Perception is wisdom, but they use charisma for their spells.
Right.
No worries. So anyway, as you step out of the carriage, because of the side that you guys are stepping out on, you immediately see with your dark vision that there's farmland on the right hand side of the road, and what Seth was talking about was actually on the left hand side of the road was this big warehouse, and you also notice that it is starting to rain.
It's right. So,
No, it's okay.
there you go.
That's fine.
I'd say you probably all start to notice, apart from possibly
Go
Malar,
ahead.
start to notice it's raining.
Nothing.
Okay. It's starting to rain.
We should head inside. Let's expedite things and crack on. Lead the way.
I'm just going to start
Guide
walking
tiefling.
to the thing. My character already looks exasperated.
To the warehouse or to the other, to the building at the foot of the tower?
I'm going to go warehouse.
Okay, the warehouse. Okay, so
But
so
thought
from where
process
you
for that
so
is people working there hopefully want to help move some stones.
good thinking. Okay, so as you I won't make you roll again because you already rolled a 21 for perception. We can still use that for this. So you see that there's this flagstone wall about 6 foot high that runs around the entirety of the compound. There's the big warehouse within it, and there's also 2 other buildings, one of which it sort of interjects the wall, which is just a bit further up the road from where you are. And then there's one other building beyond that, which seems to be right in the corner of the complex. As far as entrances go, the only one you can see other than this building, which is in the middle of the wall essentially, is another dirt track that leads off of the road and leads into a sort of back entrance to the complex. There is a gate there that you can see, like a heavy wooden gate.
So that's around the back.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say to you guys, like, you guys go one side, see if you can find anyone around the other side. I'll head this way, see if we can find anyone. Splitting the party never goes wrong when looking for clues.
So which way are you heading? Sorry?
I'm heading towards the big gate.
The big gate. Okay, great. Okay.
So I'm going to head towards there and sort of just try and hit on it as hard as I can to get someone's attention on the inside.
Okay.
I'm knocking on a door.
I know, but what's your strength out of interest? Because you're obviously going to see how much power you can put into this knock.
12.
12. Okay, cool. So knock the door. You start to hear on the other side a deep growl. 2 deep growls, actually.
I split the party for 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
I tell you what, make a survival check. Apologies. Survival or nature, your choice.
Choose the destroyer.
So nature, it goes from 0 to +1.
Okay.
18.
18. Okay, these are definitely dogs on the other side. You assume most likely guard dogs.
Okay, that's much safer than what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Do I hear any other noise other than dogs growling at me?
Like
someone saying,
if you
back off,
you can
dogs,
take some
dogs."
time to do a perception check if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd like to listen to the door, see if I can see anything behind it. 18.
18. Okay, listening at the door. With 18, yeah, all right. So as well as the panting of these 2 animals, you can also hear the long, drawn-out breath of a humanoid.
Okay, so I'm knock one more time. Just go. Is anyone in there?
On the other side of the door.
I feel like this is going terribly. I don't know why.
You hear a voice on the other side. Go away.
Alright, I can't wait.
Meanwhile, you 2, where are you headed?
We go around the back.
So you're heading for the building that's interjecting the wall, or are you following him?
Did you go around the back? I thought you went around the front.
We're going to go to the same structure, just the back end of the structure.
The other side of the structure to where he is.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So you're carrying up the road then, following this thing along. You go past the building that interjects the wall, and you see that there is some sort of signage hanging off of the building. Probably just like a wooden structure, but at this time you can't make out what it is. Carry on straight past that. As you get to the corner, then you can see dead ahead of you the tower is a lot clearer. You're right near the foot of it, and this low building next to it. It's maybe 6, maybe 7 feet high. It's got some small windows in there, just small sort of rectangular windows, a nice big oak door, and a sign. This one lit by a torch, so that you can see that it says Inelson's Rest on it. And it's basically the picture on this sign is of it depicts a halfling resting up against a white rock with a hat over his head, and it looks like on a sunny day.
A nice inset in that. Get dogs and go away.
Yeah, so that's what you see there. If you head round the corner, you then see that it opens up as the road moves round past the tower. As you head round following the complex, you see some more buildings, presumably houses. Again, they're quite low structures, other than one which seems to be much grander than the others, which is actually the nearest to the wall, which is it looks like some kind of maybe marble or something, and it's got a couple of columns on like a porch at the front. Quite grand looking by comparison to the more shanty style housing that's around it. You also, as you go around the corner, see the building at the corner of this complex, which has some very small rectangular windows, maybe 2, maybe 3, as you pass around it, and there's no other clear entrances to the complex.
And then, I think we've probably found what we're after for the evening.
Sounds good.
Do you want to go and get Seth, and I'll head on in?
I whistle for Seth.
Okay,
Really?
Come back.
make a performance check.
20.
20. Yeah, I mean, a piercing.
What do I hear the dogs do?
For a moment, they just stop it, and then they continue to just hold their position there.
I don't want to say I respond to the whistle. It's gonna be a thing. I go to the other side to where the whistle came from.
Okay, cool. So you start heading round. As you head round, you note that these 6-foot flagstone walls also appear to have iron spikes all over the top, all across the top.
So I should have gotten the go away before I got there.
Quite possibly, yeah. It's not particularly friendly, but it took you a while to notice that.
So I'm gonna head back towards him and ask him, what did you find?
Dwarf.
Hey Malar, what did you find?
Well, we found an inn. It's bound to have people in it that might help, and somewhere to stay for the night.
Great job, guys. Great job.
What did you, you didn't find anything?
I don't think it's a particularly friendly building. I think it's, it must have night guards or such. They've got guard dogs, and someone in there who wasn't too pleased to someone knocking on their door.
Let's go to the inn. They're going to be more friendly.
Yeah.
Drinks are on me, fellas.
Alrighty. So as you go to head inside, I guess, are you leading them in?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Well, first of all, you have to stoop because it is the door itself is only maybe 5 feet high.
Is it a halfling sort of targeted establishment?
You would make an educated guess by the fact that at its tallest point, the building is 7 feet tall.
Oh boy.
The
Okay.
2-story building?
No, it's a 1-story building.
Good, just checking.
1-story building, yes, not a 2-story building, as far as you can tell. So you stoop, and as you do, can you make a dexterity saving throw?
Our enemies are not
It's
doors.
a door.
They're
It's
door
not a
frames.
particularly difficult save.
That'll be 15.
15. Okay, you notice that somebody on the other side of the door, just as you're about to grab it, you hear the and you can see the door's about to swing open for you, but you manage to just duck out of the way as 2 boisterous-looking dwarves push past and start heading towards the tower, laughing and cackling away to themselves. One of them with a bottle of wine in hand.
Well, I think we've found the right place.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, after you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's head inside.
Head inside. Okay, catch up with you in a second. So, Bart, describe your character for us, if you would.
So think
It's got one with a name now.
sort of Ewan McGregor era Obi-Wan Kenobi, but with the hair slicked back a bit more. So you know, kind of beard and sort of youngish looking hair slicked back, and then he's in the traditional Barkfang monastery robes, which I'm afraid I'm going to have.
That's okay. It's similar to Jedi.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is all becoming terrifyingly
Realised.
so like that, but somehow he's managed to find a way to sort of style them into something that's that resembles slightly more a suit than normally. Like he's gone full formal with this sort of like he's got imagine a Jedi with a cravat for no particular reason.
Does he have a cravat?
Yeah, but
Amazing.
yeah, why not?
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
great.
Rukon
Nice
is
stylish
fully
cravat.
cravated.
So, looking a little bit dishevelled at this time because you have been dragged around from pillar to post by your cousin Rudy, who has been having quite an evening, of which you, all in your pre-Reformation days, if that makes sense, before you're heading to the monastery and undertaking works there, like he is basically just like how you were back then in his hedonistic days. So he's been dragging you around from all the pubs in Morning Hill, which you've been actually kicked out of most of them due to his antics, and you weren't
I'd
actually
be disappointed if I hadn't.
Exactly. Now, with this particular inn, the Innocent's Rest, you've been there for a couple of drinks, but you haven't been kicked out because Rudy had this great idea, and he's grabbed you by the hand and has pushed through the door. And as you've gone through the door, you've gone past a weird-looking 7'2" elephant man, a half-elf with a scarf over his face, and a turquoise tiefling looking slightly bewildered. And and he's just dragging you straight towards the tower. And he's like, "Hey, cuz, right? What I was thinking, right, is I've always wanted to get up to the tower, right, and just piss off of the side."
Is being Manchester compulsory here? Is that being...
No, that's him.
No,
That's
cool.
him.
Okay, fine. My response... Rudy, for crying out loud, this is a cultural stereotype. It's not even clear whether that guy was actually a dwarf. This is not correct behaviour. The balance does not advise this.
Oh, balance! Come on, let's go. So he drags you straight towards the door.
I've appointed myself as his carer. And I'm just
Essentially.
kind of going along with it now.
Essentially, this watchtower you're then taken to looks very ancient in the way that it's been constructed. It's with large white stone, very unlike any of the other buildings you've come across in the area. With the exception of perhaps the council buildings in Morning Hill, they would probably be the same kind of style,
Okay.
which you would have gone past in your time. Anyway, it's a reinforced wooden door. He goes to open it, and it's locked.
Come on, enough of this foolishness, Rudy.
Hey, one sec. And he knocks on the door. A few moments pass. Rain starts falling on your face, and you're thinking, why the hell am I here? Being dragged around by this guy. Door opens, and a somewhat bemused-looking Bureaucran Republic guard in his tabard of blue and white stripes. What do you want? Hey, I was... Hi, by the way, Rudy Rumbleguts, pleased to meet you. I was wondering if I could go and inspect the top of your tower with my cousin here, if that's okay. This isn't really customary. It's not a museum. You can't just come in and start looking around. Hey, it will be no trouble. And you see that he manages to sort of slide him some money into his coin purse there, and just starts patting away. He goes, "Will be no trouble. Don't you mind." Yeah, all right then. Come on. And he opens the door and beckons you both inside. Are you going to go in? Are you going to
Yes, yeah, this is definitely the point at which Rudy's carer is going to need to be close by him, so yeah.
Okay, very sensible. So he immediately takes...
As we go in, I'm kind of like, I want to be absolutely clear. If I have to catch you, I'm catching you by your wrist. Your wrist is what I'm catching you by. I'm not going to catch you by anything else, just the wrist. And if I can't get the wrist, then you're on your own.
You couldn't catch a cold Brucon. And he starts heading up the stairs, taking a swill of his wine as he goes. Can you make an acrobatics check for me?
I can. Well, I hope I can. Whether I can do it well. Let's see.
I certainly can, but will I be successful? We shall see.
That doesn't look like a fantastic roll, but it'll do 12.
12, okay, good enough. As he starts running up the stairs, you tail behind him, somewhat put out as you do it. The stairs leading up, all to again this white stone staircase, no rails, and it's not long before Rudy starts toppling towards the side there. But you do manage to get in front of him and catch him by the wrist and pull him back onto the course, and he carries on just speedily up to the top of this tower. When you get to the top, it's maybe 40, 50 feet up in the air, as far as you can tell when you tentatively look out over the edge. You get a nice view of the area around you with your dark vision, and there's basically the top of the tower has a roof and then support beams holding the roof up, but otherwise you can look out pretty much 360-degree view. The only item within it is a bell, like a nice big ornate looking brass bell. Assume you would have used that would have been used as a watchtower in years gone by. He admires the scene out before you hear, right, time, zip.
In my day, we had much more artistry than this. There was refinement in the process. There was a practical joke at the end of this. It wasn't just defacing the scenery.
Hey, I think you'll find there's real art in what I'm about to do
You'll
here.
find there's zero art in what you're about to do, Rudy. Carry on.
Make
My sensibilities have been deeply offended roll.
make an intimidation check.
Intimidation check, that works. Yep. Okay, how are we looking on intimidation? Okey-dokey. Got that there. 11.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah, he completely ignores you and proceeds to do the business off of the edge, just in a nice arc. He's like, look how high I can get it! And it just goes like straight up like that and then straight down. Meanwhile,
Oh no.
at the bottom of the tower,
That's what we call Chekhov's gun being established.
Yeah.
Over to you.
so Neris.
Oh, good.
Oh no.
So
Dear
first of all, can you describe your character to us, please?
Well, she's a teenage high elf. This is her first time out on her own. She's quite naive, but she's very excitable and very sort of kind of naive about how cool the world is. Yeah. She's basically been sent away by her parents for certain reasons, and that's why she's so far away from her home of Kothar. And she's dressed in fairly plain clothes, just, the only sort of notable thing is a kind of oversized blue cloak of sorts that you can see clearly didn't really belong to her, that made her look even younger than she is. So she doesn't come across as this kind of figure, but she does actually look quite striking because she doesn't look like a normal high elf. Very pale, but with these crazy red eyes.
Yeah, that is pretty strange. Red eye, and
white hair, white skin, and red eyes.
And if it wasn't for the fact that, of course, that is how Neris normally appears, you would have found that quite strange yourself. The strangest thing that you actually saw over the last couple of days has been with a particular sort of graffiti that was on one of the various statues as you went through Morning Hill. It looked like it'd been defaced in some variety, particularly with a spray. It had been painted around the sort of groinal area, and you saw and you glanced some kind of some sort of squat humanoid running away with a paintbrush in hand when this happened, and thought, bloody dwarves, honestly. Anyway,
Dungeons and Dragons university years or something.
It's pretty much frat boy mentality. Anyway, so you on your travels, you've been heading towards. You're heading up towards Hilberg. Was your original location that you were meant to head towards, but unfortunately, due to your passage not being as reliable as it should have been, you ended up having to travel from Ilurberek, which has taken you a hell of a lot longer, and you are starting to feel that, and now you just really wish you had just got there and, would hope that nothing else can possibly go wrong. So you head through this village, you round this, it's very large. I tell you what, can you make a perception check for me, please? So let's roll a d20 and add your perception modifier on your character sheet.
So
Roll 1 for your character.
plus
Perception.
2, right? Yeah. So that's 19.
19, that's a good roll. So you can see, so as you start walking up to the tower, you can see this ornate looking, you guess some kind of metallic humanoid figure on the top. It seems to be holding aloft some kind of, you would guess maybe a wand, something like some sort of rod that it's holding in its hand above its head. And you can also see a bell within the tower. And again, you surmise this is probably some kind of watchtower, probably an ancient one, although you were not much of a historian on Burikrin, so it's beyond you. And they love their structure. It's a thing. It's a quite nice looking thing. It's a big thing, but you've got to get around this thing to carry on along the road. And the road itself actually winds around the road. So so I assume you're going to follow the road round. Yep, you're going to follow the road round. And as you round the corner, can you make a dexterity saving throw for me, please?
Same?
Boy.
It's the same roll, D20, and this time you add your dexterity.
Oh no! Oh no!
Was it a 1?
That's
Oh my god!
It rolled from something much higher. I was like, no, don't. No.
Well, you might, and if your dex is incredible, you might still make it.
I mean,
No,
Save.
not with a natural.
Saving throw for
A natural
dexterity.
one.
You had a giant
So it takes up to a
rock
big
thing attack
2.
me. I
Yeah.
thought that was the cruelest character introduction there was. This is cruel.
So what did you get, sorry?
Natural one.
Natural one, okay. Okay, so as you round the
This is gonna be
corner,
great.
you see ahead of you this inn. Well, it's well lit by a lamppost outside. Nice looking sign depicting a halfling. I've given that spiel already, but that. And you hear something from above you. It sounds like some sort of fracas of some variety, some sort of disagreement between a quite rough-speaking gentleman. As you go to look up,
Oh,
you get just this stream just hits your eye and just starts to sting,
I feel like
It
there was
is-
a secret
and it
fate dice
smells,
that you didn't
and
tell us
it
about.
it is not pleasant at all, and you immediately want to wash.
I mean, is it apparent what it is?
I would say you're pretty certain that what this is. After the initial shock fades from what the hell was that hitting you in the face,
oh, I know what.
I've literally. This is the worst. At this point, in your travels, this is your lowest point. Fireball.
I'll spend.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Considering she's quite young and not quite in control of her powers just yet, I just want to burn this.
Burn everything down.
No.
Pee in my eye!
Just light the street.
How much
So
are you
you-
drinking?
you got like a,
Well, it's a
Oh,
good
there you
question.
go.
some kind of lightning-based attack, and just like, wait a minute.
You find Rudy Rumbleguts is more flammable than most.
Good.
there.
Yeah, he's about 80% proof at the moment.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
we'll go up like a match.
Right. So I'm just done with this. I've had enough. Well, I see the door. The door.
The door to the
The
tavern.
door
Yeah,
to the tavern. I see. I'm like, I need to wash this day literally up
great.
myself.
And
So I go towards
you
the-
spot this
I see,
this whole
I see
thing
an,
happen.
an unfortunate bystander. I. So, what your reaction? How instantaneous is your reaction?
I'm just like, oh god, just enough. Like I've had such a crap day. Literally, I just can't deal with it anymore. I'm going towards the tavern and I'm going to try to
Okay.
wash and sleep it off.
Okay, so
Not even looking at.
so big risk here. Not so much. There's no saving the situation on an immediate basis, but the priority, it seems to me, is to keep the sort of chances of Rudy being implicated and as it were, fingered for this as low as possible. So I grab his far shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's here facing away from me, in front of me, I grab the shoulder that's far away. So if I
Yep,
spin him, he goes away from me,
Good call. Away from the edge. Yeah.
and I kind of point him in another direction. Essentially, is there guttering or anything around here?
There's
Well,
no.
it's sort of exposed on the rooftop, essentially.
You're quite exposed up there.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean he more so than you for
Yes,
obvious
in
reasons.
multiple ways. Yes.
Indeed, but there's it's very exposed up there. There's just a low sort of maybe 2-foot wall that obviously separates you guys from just falling straight off of the tower. But other than that, there is no other cover to speak of without going back downstairs.
Okay, so I just prioritise like getting him, sort of diverting the stream, as it were,
Okay.
away from. So there's kind of like if it's maybe this ends with a puddle on the roof or something that can
Uh-huh.
loosely that could sort of be mistaken from a distance at night for normal water.
Just rain. I mean,
Just-
it is raining this
Yeah,
evening.
exactly.
So
I'm
that
just
makes
trying
sense.
to kind of I'm trying to diffuse the situation a bit in the whole like there's someone peeing off this roof sort of interpretation.
Yeah, fair enough. So to do this, then I guess it's just a grapple check, just to
Sure.
try and grab him and
Yeah.
move him away. So athletics or acrobatics
I'll go
versus
with-
his. Sorry, no, athletics for you.
Acrobatics would be
or
a bit of a
acrobatics
stretch
for me to try and get him away.
Cool.
He's going to go for athletics too because he's a strong but not entirely
He's not
dexterous
especially nimble.
dwarf.
Okie dokie. 11.
11. I rolled a 12, unfortunately. So so you grab him, but he won't move until every last drop has been squeezed out of him. And once he's finished, he then...
He's like, nope, not done.
Exactly so. And once he's finished, he just goes, ah.
Oh, God. I just go, I hope you're ready for the consequences of this.
Oh, I will, cause I will. Should we add on the drink?
Sort of go, fine. And accompany him down.
Fair enough, yeah. Back down towards the tavern. Okay, so speaking of the tavern, so the three of you, just rewinding time a little bit here, so you three enter the tavern. So as you enter Inalton's Rest, you, much like, what you weren't expecting was that this building does have 2 stories, but it's in fact, it's one story that is below you and the story that you're on. It seems that halflings do things in the reverse. They go down rather than up. So this is a relief for you. And you think perhaps, maybe downstairs, I'm just doing your voice here, would perhaps have a higher ceiling.
Wait, but what?
That's your thoughts.
What are my thoughts right now, Jack?
Stop doing impressions. Anyway,
What are thoughts?
But-
One. Jack Booker.
but really at this time, the floor on the ground floor as you enter, you are having to squat. It's 6 foot at the highest point, but there's also thick wooden beams throughout which you have to duck down nearly to half your height to get under. Sorry. It's quite a homely feel inside the building. It's one of the characteristic things about this is that it has a lot of sort of nautical memorabilia, which rings a note with you straight away because of your background pastimes. You can see there's some like anchors and some paintings of of galleys and so on the open water. There's various bits of hempen rope dotted about. It seems for decorative purposes and the like. A roaring fire also greets you on your left-hand side, and straight ahead of you is an entirely sort of wood-panelled bar, and a barmaid looking over to you, halfling woman, who seems quite well dressed, and actually, like many folks that you've met in your time so far, she has quite a bit of a tan, which you wouldn't have expected from a Burrican resident. They're generally a lot more sort of a paler complexion, but this one has these sandy blonde curls coming down, eyes you with a little bit of caution behind these otherwise deep green eyes, and a furrowed brow as she regards you. You see she's got this like sleeveless leather jacket on, which reveals a tattoo on her upper left arm of what you can, from this distance, seems to be some kind of ship. It's relatively busy inside, and there's a lute player playing in one corner, but it's the mood is not as jovial as you were expecting for halfling, given their legendary hospitality.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any tanks of water around?
Good question. None that you can see.
I'm not going to get in a bar fight and need a tank of water again. Probably.
I think that
I'm
might be a
about
little
to.
bit out of
Yeah.
line, actually, yeah.
So as I come in, I'm going to take my hat off, just put it to the side of my belt, so I've got my hat off to come in. Manners. Gonna head straight to the bar and.
I will rob you blind, but I'll do it with consideration and kindness.
Indoors.
Indoors.
But gonna go straight to the bar, and I'm just Joey gonna start saying to her, I've just come from the northeast up the road. There's been a landslide. We think there are people trapped. Is most of the people in this village? Are they here in the bar, in the tavern?
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Most of them come round to the tavern. Yes, most of them make an appearance at some point. Although, if there's been a rockfall, you're probably best bet's the manufactory. Although how cooperative they'll be, I'm not sure.
Is that the warehouse next door?
Yeah, that'll be the one. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with not very on the cooperative scale at this time of day.
Of course, a lot of the folks here used to work there, but they were laid off some time ago, so they're not in the best spirits about that place. But they're handy. But I don't know whether they'd have the necessary tools that you'd need for that sort of thing. But you're welcome to ask around. Sorry, can I get you a drink at all?
In a moment, actually, thanks. We'll just going to see if... Yes, I don't need a drink right now. But I'm going to turn straight right back around to Malar and say, we were in that bar fight before, and you made lots of things. Like, can you make me sound a bit louder here?
Oh, yeah, certainly I can accomplish that.
Cool. So I'm going to stand up on a table.
Mm-hmm.
Can you
I will stand next to you and just put my hand on your shoulder.
There you
Closing the
go.
door.
Yeah, please.
Make it worse. There we go.
So I'm just going to go. I don't have to start. I'm gonna go,
Friends, Romans. This is the tradition.
semi-drunk people!
There you go.
Who is not that drunk yet?
Hey! All of them cheer out.
What did you really expect to that?
Just like, we need your help. It's like, down the road there are some people trapped behind some rocks. Who wants to come help us? Volunteer!
Make a persuasion check.
While I'm holding it,
So you're
can I
very
give you
charismatic.
guidance?
Apparently
I
not.
will allow it this time, yes.
Do you want to throw a d4 on top of that?
Definitely do. What was it? Persuasion?
Yep. It's okay, you're very persuasive. I mean, last week established
11.
11.
I rolled a 2.
That's pretty good. Okay.
That's 11 off the back of a 2 is
That's
good
pretty
work.
good. Yeah. That's good maths. So, standing up at the table, you proclaim this out to the bar. The lute player stops. The rest of them go silent. One person does stand up from the table that they've been sitting on in a corner, and it's in fact this, the mystery man that's been sitting in the corner for a very short amount of time. Sorry. Hello, Marshall. Welcome to the game. So, for those of you who don't know, Marshall is our 6th and final regular player who wasn't at the character creation thing, so we've got a whole thing about that, which I'll cover in our campaign diary on Friday. But for now, can you introduce your character to us, please?
I can. You see before you a pointy-eared humanoid, a half-elf, wearing very fancy-looking clothes, lots of green, a big ruff, a sort of short cape, nice, very shiny, polished boots. Little rosy around the cheeks, are sort of like not quite. He can't quite grow the full goatee, but there is definitely like stubbly bits around his chin and a little fluff around the sort of moustaching, not quite area. That's him. Oh, he's got like red hair, sort of slicked back, red hair.
What does he look like?
Does he look like-
If you had to,
Well,
you had to determine some sort of combat role.
He's not carrying an instrument.
He's not
It's not carrying this. You could make. Tell you what. Why don't you make a
Detect class roll.
Why don't you make an educated guess?
Alright. Done.
Okay. So with your ruff, you stand up.
I'm Spartacus now. People in trouble, you say?
Yes, down the road to the north.
Oh, we must help them. We must.
I was not actually expecting anyone to stand up. I was literally about to go, who wants 10 silver to come help? So I wasn't prepared for anyone to just offer out of
You
kindness.
can't be a hero for money.
Oh, that's good to hear, friend. Maybe we should deal with this in the morning. I'm all for helping people, but I am somewhat tired right now.
I'm going to look across the room and realise that every single person's pretty drunk. Most people are pretty drunk.
And not your nice drunk. They're like your slightly sort of what's the word? Cantankerous drunks.
I know. I mean, did you guys see that pea coming out of that tower earlier? I mean, I don't think this town's got the best help right now.
I feel the topic has changed somewhat.
Yeah.
Sorry, so there's some people to the north. We found a caravan, and the trail led to some towards the mountain where it seems to be a landslide. So we didn't see any signs of life. We think they're trapped behind it, but we weren't strong enough to get the great boulders out.
Make haste and save them.
Steady on there, friend. What's your name?
Leoberin.
Leoberin. I am Deacon out of Shade Creek of, right here.
It's at this point,
where
as you're
I'm
about to
standing at the
start
moment.
your spiel,
Yeah.
that the door to the tavern flies open and you can hear the thunder from outside. And also, to do with thunder, the thunderous facade of a rather wet and rather dismayed-looking high elf with startling red eyes enters the bar.
And the theme
She has
music.
a theme song.
I look around. I'm looking for the innkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, all I want is a room and a wash.
So when you enter the room and the band has started up again. The lute player started up again. You can see an elfish-looking chap standing on a table. You see another elvish-looking chap with a ruff standing who's facing him, but now looking at you. And there's also a stooping elephant man and a turquoise tiefling, all looking your way. You can see between them that there is a bar, just beyond them.
Okay. Well, I kind of look at them weird and sort of shimmy along the side, like.
If she's shimmying past, can I just make an investigation check to see if anything gets on me?
What's your passive perception?
Cooties? What's that?
Oh yeah, you were here.
Oh, he wasn't in the room.
Worst intro ever. I rolled a natural 1 and got peed on. Yeah, by his buddy.
From a great height.
On her base.
Well, cousin.
12.
12.
Buddy
You
is-
don't notice any. She brushes. Well, she doesn't brush past you because you're standing on a table, so you're fine.
Good.
But she appears to have something. Seems to have, got on her. You think possibly rain, but the way that nobody looks that pissed off about getting rained on, so you assume that maybe something else has happened.
What is
Is she rained off at being pissed on?
Perhaps.
what is the weather outside?
Why?
Is
Why?
is the small
a
Cloudy with a chance of urine.
It's raining.
Okay.
It's not a thunderstorm. But
Okay, so it is raining and she is wet.
yeah. So yeah, but you never seen somebody look that annoyed about being wet.
Welcome to D&D.
But sorry, that was cruel. That was cruel interruption. But hey, for a natural one, couldn't avoid
I
the
don't
pee,
know.
the Rudy pee.
I
Is it Rudy?
I accept it.
I made you. Yeah.
Aw.
So
I'm trying to shimmy past them and
head
get
onto
to
the bar.
And I don't. Basically, all I notice is they're staring at me. I'm used to getting stared at because I know by this point in my journey that I don't look like other people.
I'm not like other
I'm not like
elves.
other people. Okay. Well, I didn't grow up around high elves.
That's
So,
true.
no.
That's true. But
I
even
didn't know I
so,
looked different.
you always knew you were a little bit different.
Yeah.
You know, in ways.
So I'm kind of used to it. I'm like, they'll get distracted
Mm-hmm.
at some point. I'm just gonna go straight to the innkeeper.
Beeline for the bar.
Yeah.
So yeah, you see this halfling maid at the bar with his cascading blonde curls. Looks a little bit concerned as she sort of slumps up over the bar at the scene in front of her. Takes a moment to notice you. Sorry, evening. Can I help you at all?
I would like a room for the night, please, and somewhere to wash
Well,
up.
of course you can. Yes, no problem at all. Got 6 finely adorned rooms downstairs. We got nice feather pillows and fluffy sheets, and I'm sure it would be more than adequate for your needs. That's hang on one second. Let me just see how many we've got available. Oh, as it goes, we've only got 1 room being used so far. So it's 1 gold piece for the night.
Done.
Any drink? Oh, excellent. Any drinks for you at all?
Nope.
Okay, all right. So let me just grab your key. Turns around and sort of fusses with the shelving behind the bar. Pulls out a key with a number 1 sort of fob on it. Hands it over to you.
How many people are in this bar?
There's probably sort of between. It's in the teens. How many people are in there?
So,
For a village, you would assume it's most of the population.
so one person volunteered, so I'm just going to do one last thing. It's like, is there anyone else willing to help these people in need? Just one last walk around the room. So,
I mean, you've got me. That's enough.
Oh, friend, many hands make light work.
And as you say this, the door to the tavern opens again, and
God.
2 dwarves enter the bar.
Oh, hey, do you want to
One of
try
which
those two?
carrying a bottle.
I'll say the third time later.
Hey, you! I told you, no more drinks. Hey, come on, I've still got this one. Well, drink it quietly. Well, I mean, I'm sorry about that. Troublemakers occasionally around here. Not used to that in a small halfling village like this, but anyway. So you've now entered, and again, this scene before you, still standing on the bar, a half-elf and half-elf the rough and the turquoise tiefling looking confused, and a stooping elephant man. All
Loxodon.
I'm saying elephant man because I don't know what a loxodon is. You know what a loxodon is, so it's a loxodon. Yeah.
And I'm still in the.
You're still at the bar, yes. But, yeah.
Okay. I kind of look around and sort of go, is it amateur theatre night? What's going on?
I've been on the table long enough. I'm going to be stepping off the table to talk to, what's your name? Leoberon?
Yeah.
Yes, I was to speak to Leoberon about plans for the morning, most likely. So coming off the table, I'm like, we've been through a few fights today. I think we need to rest up to make sure we've got enough manpower to help them well in the morning.
Also, the light helps. I don't have your acuity.
We may not be able to track it back to the landslide at this time of night in the darkness.
Oh, okay. Yes, I suppose a couple more of. Yes. We don't want to be extra bodies in a different landslide.
Very true.
Because the half of who was on the table has now got off, it's actually, because I'm short as a dwarf, it's actually obscured my view. So I jump up on the table in order to sort of achieve parity and so, sorry, what's going on here?
Hello. Did you want to volunteer as well?
Well, as a devotee of the Barkfang Monastery, I've been charged with seeking out balance in the universe and maintaining it wherever it's necessary. So, is there something going on that might possibly be relevant to my cause?
So we are.
Please. I'm extremely sick of looking after my cousin.
Oh, hey there, friend. Let me introduce myself. My name is Deacon Malar Creek, and
okay, I detect a script behind the lines
here. Yeah, definitely. And I said
that's fine, by the way. Carry on.
We're seeking for some assistance with a landslide. We think some people may be trapped behind it, and we're looking for people to help us clear the rocks.
Yep, sounds good. Great, sign me up.
Well, you are in luck, my Loxodon companion.
Shut up, Rudy!
Grabs you by the trunk
Stop
and just
talking.
shakes it as if it's a hand. Rudy Rumblegot's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
the friendly drunk stage.
Do I know you?
No, Rudy, you don't.
There's not many Loxodon round Burikrin, are there? Are you
Oh
that?
my God.
Are you that priestly one?
Is he the one that we had a bar fight with?
No.
Okay, I was bad.
No. This one is well dressed, although scruffy, given he's currently half cut. He's clearly of a noble standing,
or at least very rich.
Typical frat boy kind of vibes you're getting from him. So it's like polished face. He's even shaved, but the stubble's starting to come out, and he looks like trouble. Anyway.
There's a real go away and don't make any trouble, and we'll hear we'll hear more about this peasant vibe coming off him.
Essentially, yeah, bit snooty in that respect. But yes, pleasure to make your acquaintance. How may we be of assistance? This is my cousin, Ree. He calls
Mr.
himself Ree. It's Brucon Rumbleguts.
Oh, hello, Mr. Brucon. Rumbleguts.
Brucon is fine.
Okay, fantastic. Will your charge be accompanying us, or?
I extremely hope not.
Okay. Well, I think we were considering.
I'm gonna skip ahead a couple of lines here. Extremely drunk, not good combination with large volumes of rocks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Rudy, you stay here. Don't antagonize anyone.
Make a little persuasion check.
Yeah.
Make a little persuasion check there.
What is going on with my rolls? 12 again. I'm literally every roll I get is 11 or 12.
If I may say here, if I'm polite with a certain bribe, if you will, of the alcoholic variety.
I grab him by the shoulder and pull him close and go, you know where I've been these last few years, don't you?
Yeah, you up in the north doing,
I was, yes, to be precise, I was learning how to kick your kidneys out through your ears. Do not test me, Rudy!
Okay, make an intimidation check with advantage.
You're gonna kill his cousin and down.
Yeah, I'm.
Intimidation, you say?
Intimidation with advantage, yeah.
That was my attention.
Okay,
Oh, that's
finally the bell curve has been defeated. 16.
16. Although he maintains eye contact with you, you see him waver slightly, a flicker, being that although he's not your favourite cousin, you have spent some time with him and you know his tells, and
Yeah.
he's going to obey what you're
That's
saying
it.
now.
So you're going to be a good boy, and you're going to be quiet, and not cause any trouble, not like the last 5 times.
Well, I'll be as good as I can be. I'm not really known as a good boy, and he starts eyeing up the barmaid.
Kidneys, Rudy. Remember the kidneys. And I kind of do a little
Last
pose.
time I checked, I've still got 2, and I would like to keep it that way.
Correct.
Aye.
Back to your room.
Right, I better go get the room. I'm just going to finish this, if you don't mind. And I'm going to go... And he heads off, heads towards the bar. Barry, the room! And slams some gold on the... You see this as you're there. He slams, like, haphazardly 5 gold pieces onto the bar, and some of them spill onto the ground. And she's...
There's a big one for spilling things on the ground, is Rudy.
He is. He's a spiller.
Dreadful spiller.
She just hands over slams down a key passive aggressively onto the table and slides it across the bar to him. The one with the number 4 on it, which you note because you go, that's nowhere near me.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Little mini sigh of relief.
And he just pops himself up on a bar stool and he carries on drinking. Sorry, yeah.
So I'm going to turn around to the barmaid. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 have agreed to go help with the people. So I'm going to turn to her and be like, going to ask how much for 5 rooms and 5 drinks.
I mean, it depends what kind of drinks you were after, because, we've got a selection. In fact, you know what? For 5 of you, say? Well,
Yeah.
I've got 1 bottle left of very fine wine made by the lovely Tom here, the farmer, local.
We'll take it.
It's good brewery wine. You'll love it. 20 gold pieces for the wine, and then it's 1 gold piece each for the rooms. That's 25 gold pieces.
I would like a shot of wine.
Oh, you want a glass of it?
Just like 5 shots of the wine.
I mean, I don't really. I'm meant to sell the bottle. It only comes in bottles. If you want, we've got a picture of some other wine, though, if that's okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Would you prefer wine or beer? We've got both.
Which one? How much they?
Well, beer is
Beer
3
and
copper
wine.
pieces. Wine is a couple of silver pieces for a pitcher.
5 beers.
5 beers, all right.
Yeah, rogue generosity. Barkeep, I'll have your finest. That'll be 25. I'll have your next finest.
I'll have the most cost-effective.
Let's skip the 10 next finest.
Right, that's 15
I'll
copper
have your
pieces.
Tesco finest.
Yeah.
So 5 gold for the 5 rooms.
Cool. So I'm going to pass those over, and I'm going to say to her as well, for anyone that starts to sober up before the evening, 10 silver pieces if they join us to help in the morning.
10 silver pieces.
10 silver pieces if they join us in the morning to help.
Right. Well, I'll see if I can expedite that for you.
Are you still at the bar?
I turned when I overhear that
Money. Money.
because I don't have that much. Some extra would be nice. So what was that? 10 gold pieces.
Silver.
10
Silver. Gold pieces. Silver pieces.
10,
yeah.
10 silver
Sorry,
pieces.
I heard
Yeah.
gold as well.
10.
I heard gold as well.
You're on our
Definitely
team. You're on our team. 10 silver pieces to come help us, and tomorrow, if you can, there's some people trapped behind some rocks. We're trying to recruit some hands to help move the rocks to try and get them out.
Well, I'm not much of a lifter, but I can set things on fire. I'm pretty good at that.
I was about to say anything can
Fire,
help.
Fire can help.
Hold back on the fire till we make sure there's no one right behind it, but sure, that can help. Can that help?
Many hands make light work. I'm sure your sisters would be ready.
I mean, how hot is this fire? I think you can melt
Pretty
rock
hot.
if it's... Yeah.
I've burned buildings down.
There we go. We can melt the rocks away.
What a sensational character reference that is.
One second. I do remember that I believe...
I mean, it wasn't on purpose.
I
but
believe rocks
it's
give
effective.
off quite noxious fumes if you melt them.
Now, I think we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Let's maybe strategize in the morning when we're.
Oh God.
That's 6 copper pieces. That's what
Now I'm in proximity to Neris, and I've got my trunk, and I get advantage on perception checks with that.
Yes.
I would make my passive perception like 18.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, I
That's
knew
a good. That's a
it
very
was
good
gonna
point.
be
That's a
that.
very good point.
I thought there was touching happening. And
Oh
I was-
no.
I've got advantage
no,
on
no,
perception
no.
checks with my trunk.
Snake is snake. No. Just with smell.
And then I cast Burning Hand.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that would mitigate the smell, but anyway.
I want to set myself up.
But anyway, yes, you get a distinct odor from this high elf. You are. A part of you thinks perhaps. I mean, you don't know this high elf. You've literally just met her. She has red eyes. You know that much. You think perhaps incontinent. You're not sure. Because the smell you're getting is something you more is more something you'd equivocate with the more senior members of the Senate in Rundar, perhaps.
I think I've probably got enough, and just barely enough social awareness not to bring this to anybody's attention.
But I think
Elves can get pretty old.
I think
It's my favourite
yes.
introduction.
Yes. Now you of course so you do you've dealt with high society enough knowing not to mention
You can
this.
see it about to come out, and then
Fleeting. Can you make a?
Can I do a perception check on whether I
Also-
notice him noticing?
You can, but first, Fleeting, can you make a wisdom saving throw for me?
As the terrible illogic of everything that's just happened threatens to break your mind.
18. Okay, so you have exactly the same thought as Malar does at this point, and knowing that you generally
Stinks
say
of
things
pigs.
as they are, you have to fight yourself not to say anything. You passed the check, so you didn't say it. You didn't just blurt it out like you have done before.
Have I written?
Definitely would love to say that.
Now I was a witness to this thing happening.
Mhm.
Do I recognise that this half elf?
You can make a.
Did my cousin piss on this half elf check?
Let's call this a. Let's just make this a perception check.
Perception,
You're just
yeah.
gonna
But
look.
look at all the interaction.
No, sorry.
What is
No,
bonding?
history check.
Over there.
Perfect.
History check. Yes. Okay.
I mean, how strong is this odor?
Once again, just right smack bang in the middle of the bell curve. 9.
Are we all making this check at some point?
I mean, there weren't any other. I mean, you haven't noticed. Okay, there's these two who had pointy ears, and she has pointy ears, and from this height, from the height you were in the tower,
And the
could be
halfling-
one of the three.
And the
But
and the half elf really pissed on didn't have a ruff.
So that eliminates him. Yeah. So it's
that
one of
eliminates-
these
but by
two.
process of elimination.
Yeah, it could be the one with the scarf. Could
My
be
cousin pissed on you.
There is
Not gonna
Is
lie,
a
every
full
time
elf.
we
Yeah.
start doing a
High
check
elf.
for this, our viewers double.
what?
Literally just pee jokes.
It's a very
They go
specific
to 4.
audience, though. A very specific audience.
We double to 4 every time we talk about this.
This is good. Okay, so
Slice and D6. No kink shaming here.
so Neris, yes, you can make your. What's your passive perception actually?
My passive perception.
I think I already asked you earlier, but
No,
anyway.
we did not.
In-
Oh no, you made a perception check. That's what you did.
Yeah.
Passive is 12.
12. Okay, so you're not sure, but you get a sense that perhaps you're being well, not ogled, but you are certainly being regarded by some of the folks
You're the subject
around
of some
you.
attention.
Judged.
Obviously,
No
given
judging. No judging.
Given
here.
your particular background and the fact that you're used to people sort of staring at you, you're not sure whether this is your imagination at this point, or whether they are genuinely staring at you.
Well, I'm at this point because he's unsure. I'm getting impatient, and my little fleeting moment of enthusiasm is just overcome with, you know what? I don't need this. I don't need people staring at me.
Oh,
I turn to leave.
Tomorrow morning we could.
This has been like a second since it happened. All I've done is sniff and been like, what's that?
I'm a teenager.
I sidle over towards you and I kind of go. I'm really sorry about what my cousin did.
Where's your cousin?
For legal reasons, I think it's a good idea not for me to tell you that. But
Well,
I'll try and make it right. Just don't burn the whole place down. Again. It's happened too many times.
Question. Did I see him come in with...
You saw the two dwarves come in at the same time, yeah.
Is it not too much of a leap for me to know?
It's not too much relief for you to work out that the one who rented room 4 is the same guy, yeah.
So I look over, like, past you, look at the bar, look at the guy sitting at the bar, and I start feeling...
And he looks back at you.
And I start feeling the rage
Yeah, okay.
build up.
I grab your arm and I go, now I know what you're thinking, but he is so rich. It's not a good idea to antagonise him. That's why I'm following him around. It's for other people's protection. He's not a bad person, but he's really careless and he's really rich, and it's just not a good idea to get into it. Let me make this right in a way that doesn't involve burning anything down or him doing something even more ridiculous than he already has done, which I assure you he is fully capable of doing.
Can I... So I'm going to consider that for a moment.
Good.
And then I want to actually cast Mage Hand, pick up one of the pints that's like left on the table, and try to dump it on his head. That's really like smash it.
Okay, so I'd say for this, you need to make a... Because basically you want... Because you're casting Mage Hand and you're doing this from your current position, you're then having to try and guess which glass to pick up is going to have beer in it, because they're all metal tankards, you can't see within it. So I would say for this, make a general... let's say an investigation check.
I can't pour it on him. I brain it.
D20. Anytime he says the word check, it's a D20.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh,
What? You can have this back. I'm thinking something else. This is cursed.
So
that's definitely how it works.
So
Try this
It
one.
is how it works.
It works.
So you pick up, so you Mage Hand, and you pick up a tankard, and it hovers directly over his head. And he turns over, and nothing comes out. And meantime, he's looking at you. Hey, psst, hey, Tieflin, can you do us a favour?
I just stare disdainfully.
I'll take that as
Say
a
nothing.
I'll take that as a yes. Could you order me a bottle of wine? I'll give you the money and a tip, but she won't serve me.
What wine?
Just a pitcher of the red wine. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh wait, they still got that Goodberry wine left.
Yes.
I'll take that. Yeah. And he hands you over a coin purse. There you go.
Check the money.
How much is it?
There are 40 gold pieces in there. Oh shit.
How many bottles of wine are there?
There's only one of the Goodberry wine.
Barkeep.
Hiya. Can I have it all?
How tall's the bar, by the way?
It's a halfling bar, so it is sort of. So they're looking up at you. It's maybe 2 feet high at the bar.
Who's over 6 foot tall?
I kneel down. What's the wine called?
Goodberry?
Goodberry. 1 bottle of the Goodberry wine.
Goodberry wine, yeah,
And-
marvelous, yeah, of course. It's 20 gold pieces, please.
Thank you. And 7 glasses.
7 glasses, of course. And she just goes out the back, comes back. 7 little metal glasses, they're little tumblers. Slides them out over to you. 20 gold pieces, please. Oh, and of course the wine.
As soon as happening, the remaining 3 beers I bought earlier, I'm just going to push them aside a little bit. Cold beer. It's fine.
Oh,
There you are. And it brings out this. It's only got one label on it on the front, and it says "Goodberry" in very large letters. It looks pristine. Like it looks like it may have been bottled maybe a day or so ago. It's a new bottle. hands it over to you.
Sure.
Sorry, of course. Pulls off the lid. There you are.
I'll just pour my own. I'll decant.
That's your bottle. You can keep it as a souvenir if you'd like.
I'll decant it into the 7 bottles.
Okay, cool. So you decant it out. So it comes to maybe sort of for 7. It's stretching it for the bottle, so it's maybe half a tumbler each. Maybe pour a little bit extra for yourself if you want. But yeah.
I hand them round to each one of the party and little dwarf patron.
Thank you kindly. I meant to have the whole bottle myself, but all right, okay.
Misunderstanding, apologies.
That's quite all right. To your elf,
Cheers.
Now,
to the fellowship of the P.
I just kind of just slowly head sinks into my hands.
Cast it again.
I sniffed my wine after hearing that. Just making
At
sure
that point, my hands start heating up.
Yeah, okay. So like, is this like, are you?
It's just pure.
Is this create
rage.
bonfire type territory here, or is this like
It's
sparking,
this-
like prestidigitation, bits of flame? coming
Hands
up
are
here?
starting to glow red. I've got really pale white skin, and it's starting to little like shake
So
and
instead-
have.
okay.
There's just crazy flashing red eyes,
So instead of going red in the face, you're going red in the hands.
hands,
Ugh.
and the eyes start going. They flash when I start casting.
The rest of you, when this happens, do you take your drink or do you stop and notice what's happening?
Alright,
Keep
shot and
drinking.
sidestep away.
Drink. Okay, so those of you who drink, you gain, you feel a rejuvenation, and if you were missing any hit points, you regain 5 hit points.
I need to drink more.
It's good wine. It is good brewery wine.
Fantastic.
Meanwhile, you.
If I'd taken any damage, this would restore over half of my total hit points.
I can have good brew.
You so feeling this rage, and obviously visibly showing this rage, Rudy shots his one, nudges his cross. Hey, of course, some people can't handle their drink, can they?
Rudy, what have I told you about upsetting magical pyromaniacs?
Do it
We
in
did
a
discuss this.
well-ventilated space.
Okay, alright. Well remembered, but that wasn't the point. So, for God's sake, and I just kind of, I go, here, and give him the drink. I'm just like, right, okay, the quickest route to a kind of calm resolution here, at this point, in my opinion, is Rudy gets shit-faced. So I just start passing, like, I just kind of go, come on, dwarven liver, fail me now.
Okay, cool. So you start plying him with drinks.
Yeah.
Well, I made a Constitution saving throw and rolled a natural. Oh no, it's 7. I rolled a natural 7. So that means with him that would be. Yeah, he's starting to not look great.
Good.
Starts swaying a little bit in his seat. Oh, you're very kind, Cosmo. I should go out with you more often. It seems you're more generous since this all bark fang.
So they go, I hate being responsible. I miss the old days of 2 years ago when it was me who was doing it.
Whatever you got.
And he now sort of when he's performing his karate, he loses balance a little bit and he knocks one of the empty glasses. It just hits you and then lands on the floor.
Wait, but
Hit me?
A metal tumbler
But-
rolls into you and falls onto the floor.
I would like to attempt to intercept it with my roguish, my monkish reflexes.
Okay, as you're a monk, I'll let you do this. So this will be, let's just say another acrobatics one.
Could I go with sleight of hand?
You go with sleight of hand if you
I mean-
prefer. Yeah.
Well, I mean, sleight of hand makes more sense. Acrobatics would be better, but
It'd be more. It would cause more of a scene if you did acrobatics, but sleight of hand, yeah, that would work.
well, let's see what the dice roll. Am I okay to see what the dice roll is and then choose the most comically?
For this, I'll let you choose.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, go on. Would whatever be more
Whoa,
suitable
let's try
for
rolling
your
on the
idiom.
table. Well, it's a natural 1, so definitely acrobatics.
So, whoop, and you sort of chop
Why?
into the table.
No.
No, it's a different one.
You chop into the table to try and stop the drink. You miss. The table then, you hit it so hard the table flips up a bit. More drinks then fall out on towards him. Now some wine ends up on you as well from Neris's drink, which hadn't been touched at this point. And
Stale wine smell.
So I'm now covered in wine, so I'm just going to brush them off. So the people in the cave that we need to save, let's go to bed and start in the morning.
I'm just going to go. Really appreciating the professionalism here, man.
Yeah.
Really loving it.
We'll meet you here in the morning.
When you start wiping yourself down, you look down, and there's something that catches your eye on the ground.
Okay.
Carved into the wooden floor are some symbols. And to anyone else, this would just look like some general graffiti, but for you, given your particular set of skills, you know that this is code. And it says, rent room 3.
Does it say
Doesn't say how. It's a symbol of symbols. It says rent room 3. That's all it says.
Cards you find in phone booths.
You carry on, I'm reading stuff on the floor.
Well, I think I'm gonna turn in for the night. It was a pleasure to meet you all, and I'll see you tomorrow. I will walk off to... Well, I probably need to walk over to the bar and get my room.
You do need to get your room.
Is there anything lots of unsized here that I could sleep in? Or is this making me flipping the bed and just sleeping on the floor?
Height-wise, no, but obviously, the ceilings are only so high. But in terms of length, I mean, the bed's there is a king size.
Capital. That.
Right. Your friend didn't actually pay for the rooms.
Let me take these.
I'll pay.
Are you sure I don't...
Sorry, it was 5 gold pieces for the rooms at 1 gold each.
Yep, so...
Oh, but you're going for the king size, room 6, so that's another gold piece for that, I'm afraid.
Let me take the extra gold then.
You bought me breakfast too many times.
Well, that
Twice.
Once, sure, okay.
So I'm gonna... I'll put my coin purse on the bar to pay.
Okay,
Yeah.
and she just carefully nods and picks out the gold at the exact amount so that you can see it, so that it's consensual.
And I'm going to say to her, it's like, we've technically got 2 horses as well, which we may have abandoned in the middle of town. What about the horses? Is there anywhere we can keep them overnight?
Well, if you ask Tom over there nicely, I mean, he's got some stables at the farm, so he could probably help you out with that. No.
Perfect.
He's a nice sort, he'll be fine. Besides, if you tell him you bought the good beer wine, he will love you, so...
Sounds great.
Right.
I'm going to start to make my way over towards that. Can I look around for any other notes?
Yeah, make a perception check. 21. Okay, so you look around the rest of... do you spend the next sort of 30 seconds or so just peering around the bar? There's no symbols per se that you can see. However, one thing that does catch your attention is what a painting on the far walls just opposite to the fireplace, and that is it depicts it's in the foreground is a halfling, and you see their top half, and it's staring out into the distance. Sort of a sprawling landscape with, you can see a settlement just in the background, just sort of in the distance, as well as a mountain range piercing the sky. And what's most interesting is when you look at this for a second and examine it a bit closer, but you can see shooting out from one of the mountain ranges depicted in this picture, of course it's not moving, you can see a jet of flame coming out from behind the mountain range. It's quite interesting. No pirate signs to speak of. The only one you see is the only pirate sign you see aside from the code you found is the tattoo on the barmaid's shoulder, which is from when you handed the money over. You see that it's definitely depicting a galley, and you, given your background, don't need to check for this. you think that she probably has moved in some of the same circles as you.
Okay. Cool. So, gonna leave our horses with Tom Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's. She points over to him at the bar. He's sitting at one of the tables, just having a.
Can I pay him to go get them from town?
So yeah, you can go over there and pay him if you want. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So just gonna drop a few silver to him to hopefully get him to go and get.
So you just drop it on the table where he
I'm not
is.
just gonna walk over to him and just go silver, horse, town.
Right.
So go to him and it's like, here you want to ask about keeping horses for the night.
Right. Yeah. Or I got a stable. Just sure. Yeah. I can keep a couple of horses. Yeah.
I've got 2 horses and a carriage in the middle of town.
Ooh, carriage. I mean, I haven't got room in the stables for a carriage, but certainly keep the horses there. No problem.
You can leave the carriage outside. Just want to keep the horse inside for the night.
Sure. No problem at all. Yes, anything to help a traveller on their way.
Yeah. So just been had a few drinks here. So had some good berry wine. So.
You had the Goodbury wine.
Yeah, just wondered if you'd be able, since we just had a few drinks already, would you be able to go drive for us?
Of course. How was it, by the way? How was the Goodbury wine?
Restorative. It
Really?
really filled us with health.
Well-
Really filled us with life.
Oh, well, it is my finest vintage. I'm very proud of my vineyard.
You got yourself.
Oh, you did? I did. I mean, to be honest, it's the last bottle we've had for a while because we're having a bit of a problem with crows. See, they keep on eating the berries, so I haven't been able to make as many batches as I would have liked. But the farmhands are doing their best. But you know, it's probably the last one in the pub for a while, so
And we all
enjoy it.
greatly enjoyed it.
I'm glad you did. All right, they're just outside, are they?
Probably.
All right. If you don't mind, I'm just going to finish my pint and then, yeah, I'll
That's
be away.
Thank you very much.
All right.
So we'll start to head back towards the group. Yeah.
They're still at the bar.
They're looking non-drunk groupish. Yeah.
Yeah. Aside from Malar, who's descended down into his room at this
Yeah.
point.
So I'll say to everyone outside. I didn't catch your names. Sorry.
Brucon.
Brucon and
Neris.
Neris. Sorry. Came over at a bad time with the group. Didn't catch all the names, but thank you for offering. We're going to be spending the night here, and we'll meet down in the morning when the sun rises, so we can go and try and help those people. Magical pirate.
So I'm just gonna storm off to my room.
Okay. Cool.
Slam the door.
So you've already got a room key, so you can
No,
go straight there.
I'm angry.
Yeah.
So you so
Teenager.
so
I'm
room.
gonna storm up there and I'm gonna slam the door.
When I go there, I'm going to put corn on. I'm going to listen to the whole of Freak on a Leash.
I'm going to dye just the
Something
front of my
takes a
hair like
part
this whole
of
rainbow
me.
thing, and I can get an undercut. I'm gonna shave off my side braids.
I'm just gonna have a whole new woman. So so you've already got your room key, so you can leave. That's fine. The rest of you, obviously, the keys are still behind the bar, but I'm assuming you go over to it.
So I'm going to ask for the keys and pass them out to people.
Sure. Of course, here you go.
Which rooms do we get?
So you've got 2, 3, 4, and 5 left.
Cool. So I'll pass 2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4.
Yep. So I'll
And
keep
5?
5.
You're keeping 5. Oh, sorry,
I'd
2,
like a
3,
bed.
4. Okay.
Floor sign said 3.
Yeah,
The floor sign you read and no one else read said 3.
That's what I was like, wait a minute.
I'm going to talk to her after.
Okay, fine.
2, 3, 4, 5. Alright.
Excuse me, I've read this thing on the floor. It said rent room 3.
Yeah.
I don't know, is that like a secret message or something?
What does it mean? This
I
combination of
first
words.
I
6
thought it
rooms
said
was already occupied.
Room 4,
And I
3.
took
I was-
one.
I was
So
kidding.
there's only 4
That's what I
rooms
heard
left.
as well.
I
That's a
heard
very
room
good
for
point.
3.
I was wondering about
Rent
Hilbert's
yeah.
Hotel.
That's a very good point. There is a room
I
7.
heard 3.
Who has room 3?
I'll take room
But I
3.
forgot about
Sorry.
that, but yeah.
Sorry, I heard rent room 4.
He's taking
3.
room 3.
I'll take room 3. Sorry, I misheard.
You misread the code.
I misheard.
The code!
3. He thought 3.
Multiple
Free, oh.
people in the party
Free.
heard for free.
3.
The two at the far end of the table heard 3.
Yeah.
The
Not
person with advantage on perception checks.
I thought
and
I
the
was,
person reading it.
I thought I was getting some money
I was
back.
gonna say, do your big ears not do?
I now regret
Oh.
paying for the rooms because I thought I was getting my money back.
kind of
Uh, So you're going with
I
room
thought my
3.
generosity was going to get some. I thought I was going to get some generosity points and my money back.
Rent room for free.
Oh, such a perfect plan, foiled only by not working.
I'll take room 3.
Okay, room 3. So you divvy up the rest.
Yeah.
So let's go to your. Yeah, you get given your keys. You're welcome to do anything else this evening if you would like, or you can go straight to your rooms.
The only thing I want to do before going to my room is grabbing Rudy and shoving him in there first.
Okay. Yep, it's easy enough.
You come with me.
Get him in there and goes and push him through the door into the room. You see it's a double bed, and he looks at you. Cousin.
I go, oh, shut up! And just shove him into the bed, and then go and sort of assume the lotus pose on the floor. And kind of just like...
Glad you said lotus.
Alright, yeah, great. In fact...
I assume the position. No.
Yeah, great. Okay, cool. Lovely job. Okay, so that's you taken care of. The rest of you...
I'm so glad we've got all 6 of us. It's so much fun.
The rest of you doing anything
What,
else
because
at
I got
all?
beat?
Or are you just heading to the bed for the
No
night?
matter the condition of the room, the Oberon will come down and ask for it to be cleaned again.
Afterwards.
Sorry, go back up.
Go
obviously.
go back
I don't know how
and say,
to edit things yet.
so could I just have my room cleaned? It's not cleaned.
Well, it's already been cleaned.
There must have been a mistake. It's not been. It's just. I'm sure when you see it, you'll understand.
Right. Well, when.
I'll wait down here. It's fine.
No.
I'll have a
I'll
wine.
revisit.
Right. I'll be. There's another.
One wine, please, before you go.
Sorry.
One of your wine.
Yes. Yeah. Well, picture, of course.
I just the glass. I'm not crazy.
Clearly.
I'm really intrigued by where this character's going. Very interested.
Right. Glass. So that's a silver piece, please. Thank you. It's very clean. No. And she sort of pauses for a moment.
What could it mean?
Pause for a moment, just kind of tuts and shakes. So, Fleeting, you doing anything else this evening?
No, I'm just going to trot off to bed, juggling the 20 pieces that I forgot to give back.
I was going to ask about this.
The 20
I was like,
pieces,
that's very
yeah,
good
yeah.
maths.
Nice one. Okay.
I'm down 5 gold where I thought I was getting it back, and he's up 20 for taking an order. Not played.
Because he's doing work.
Fair point.
I'm mostly intrigued by the paladin who's just kind of like, oh, whoops, I guess I just stole some money. Oh well. While the rogue is like, drinks on me. Just kind of
what's happening?
Everything I thought I knew is being
interesting.
pulled to pieces.
I thought I was getting it back.
Philanthropic.
that does make more sense.
So, do you head straight down to the room, or did you say you were going to talk to the barmaid, or is that now not happening because you know
No, I
what
thought I
it
was
means?
going to talk to her about getting rooms for free. Yeah, so I'm going to bed. Going to bed. It's the wine talking.
And as you go to leave, she she carefully looks over in your direction, and for a moment you think she's looking you up and down.
Of course.
But you get the sense actually no, she is searching for something as you go down there. And seems satisfied.
So, didn't find what she was looking for.
Found what she was looking for.
Room 3.
So, okay, so
Everyone.
so you rest for the night, and a couple of hours into, it was probably about midnight, you were woken up by a knock at the door.
Yep. So I'm going to go actually before I answer, say, who's there?
Room service, and you can tell it's the voice of the Halfling barmaid.
I'll open the door. I want my money back.
As soon as you open the door, you can now see her in her full regalia. So she, sorry, you can now see her in her totality.
What
Because
did I
before you could only
join?
see behind the bars, you could only see sort of half. So now you can see everything she's wearing, and everything sort of fits together better now from what you've seen of her so far. So, so again, you see the sort of off-white vest up, the sleeveless leather brown jacket with like a gold trim on it. Obviously the tattoo, the galley tattoo. These sort of faded green baggy breeches, and then these sort of knee-high leather boots sort of turned over at the ends. And as soon as you open the door, she pushes you straight back into the room, like glancing away to make sure nobody's watching.
Okay.
Are you going to let this happen, or are you going to contest it?
Let it happen.
I let it happen.
Yeah, pushed back into the room. She closes the door behind her, and just turns to you, right. So, have you got anything then?
Such as?
Well, you know, booty.
Oh my god.
Plunder, you know, treasure.
I'm not trading any of that today.
Oh.
Is there any junk in your trunk?
Are you looking to buy some wares then, perhaps?
This all sounds like porn.
I know. I don't.
Suddenly a wild plumber appears.
I know. I have to think really carefully about everything I
You hear
say.
another knock at the door. Oh, it's a courgette salesman.
Oh, that pizza we ordered is here. I
The
don't
big
have any
sausage
money
pizza.
left to tip him.
No, sorry, carry on.
We're gonna have to change the rating on this stream.
Yeah.
So
And the music.
It's all insinuated. It's totally fine.
No, the music stays the same.
no, I'm going to say to her, I'm
Lost
not
me.
here. Not here on a captain's orders. I hate everyone. Well, I'm here on a contract for the guild.
You might say sailing at half mast then.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I mean, I've got some items if you were interested in purchasing anything.
What do you have?
And she sort of strolls over to a chest that's in the room.
Love,
just
the
a
vapors.
reinforced sort of iron chest.
Darling.
And with one swift action, she just kicks it open. And inside, you can see all manner of items. Just various sort of trinkets and stuff, and then a couple of purses.
Next week on
No.
D20 Shades of Grey.
What's
There's a
in
lot
there?
of leather in here. Is this armor?
50 slices of dice.
What? I missed that. What's in the chest?
It doesn't matter. It can't be what's in our imagination.
Okay, so there's various sort of ornaments, some of gold, some are silver. There's a couple of sort of bits of jewellery, a couple of rings, and there's also a couple of leather pouches in there as well.
What's in the leather pouches?
Nothing yet.
What's in the pouches?
All things a pirate needs.
Such as?
Daggers, we've got some thieves' tools, a couple of scimitars.
The big sword you have.
We've even got the rations and that sort of thing, if that's what you like. My personal favourite item. Bear with me, and she starts rummaging through her
Saturday.
items and various clatterings as she starts pulling through her items and tries to find the correct page for them.
Try page 69.
While you're juggling, I'm going to see how loud my toy sounds up on the levels.
Oh!
Oh, sorry, that's the right.
Holy shit!
Hang on, no, do it.
I wasted that!
Well, yeah, you've done that. That's not coming
Do,
back.
do you want to do it again? Because that was the different. I was looking. If you were looking at a different thing.
Okay. Let's give a check. I mean, it's not great.
We'll know when you're rolling.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Well, everyone can play with it if they want.
What is happening?
It's these.
Literally the first
It's
session
the
when everybody.
It's gone out of control. Beyond your control.
It's my special piece of wood on the table.
I mean, it's on the table.
My particular favourite, and she pulls out
Turn around to everyone.
a
I'll turn around to
small-
having a tea.
a small wand
Didn't know you were Jewish.
made of yew. And she starts waving it around.
That's a one made of what?
Yew.
You.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, that's what we were just talking about.
You would. And starts waving it around.
We can be mature adults. I swear to God.
And as she starts waving it, you see this multicoloured light start appearing from it as she waves it, and
You made it through all of that.
What is it? What's the effect?
Come on.
and a sudden boom of a crackling noise starts out of it, echoing throughout the room and waking everyone. Suddenly,
As it goes off, I'm just going to go. Satty. What's it meant to do? Like, besides just wake everybody up.
If you're looking to distract people, right? Point this, right? Any point, sort of within your eye line. Point that. Wherever you point it, multicolored light appears, and that crackle of thunder, right?
Okay.
Okay. Now that gives you a couple of seconds to get out of wherever you are.
How much is that?
Well, this is an item that you won't find in many shops, so it's going to be it's going to cost you a bit. Maybe.
I love it.
Personal favours.
Well,
Get out your coin purse. No. your
Well,
other
I mean-
coin purse.
I am trying here, people.
well, it's going to be. Well, what's it worth to you?
I don't know the exchange system.
Well, look, you can trade an item with me for
This
it, or
universal
else, I mean, I don't know. It's probably call it mates rates, being 50 gold.
How is this person still in business? Here's the thing, you don't particularly want it, but it's very rare, so you do want it. How much does it cost? You make me an offer.
I'll give you a discount on whatever you offer me.
Person I've only met today.
Someone send this person on an MBA
No.
immediately.
Well,
for the love of
there's
God.
an immediate understanding, being that they're both pirates. That
Now-
there's honour amongst thieves, if you like.
At level 2, we are still poor. So we don't have that, which is why I resorted to stealing stuff in the last one. The bone horn. No, sorry.
You knew better. You knew better.
He saw the high road and went, nope.
The second I said it, I regretted life. So for the finely crafted horn, how go present that to her? It's like,
Presenting the horn, yeah. She looks like it's very
Please
impressive.
change the music. It's just fine. Baseline.
She doesn't change her expression. There's a little bit of a smirk, like in the corner. She's clearly toying with you a little bit.
a trade. This for the wand.
What does it do? Besides the obvious.
It's used by the. Where are we?
Are you holding it out right now? Just
Hate you.
At what point, as we're now wait, can we come into the doorway? And
Oh,
Yes, we just heard an explosion.
Well, actually, sorry. What's your passive perception when this goes off? Just
What's your passive perception for
9,
explosions?
9. So you just kind of hear a noise, "Whoa!" and you listen out. And you assume it's nothing. Maybe it was thunder outside. Maybe.
I was just,
11? Because I believe I'm in the room next door. My passive is...
You hear a noise, yeah, and wake up. Again, not really sure what it is. You can listen to the wall if you want, and make an actual perception check.
Listen to the wall.
Make a little perception check.
Same.
You have noted at this point your room hasn't been cleaned.
DM
The actual
the
rage.
DM used the distraction.
It's like
super
it's like
effective.
middle of the night now.
Yeah.
So it's my first session. I shouldn't burn the tavern down in my first
I should
session.
build up to that.
I will-
It's when he goes to our
That's my job.
Yeah, well,
pyromaniac magician. He's like, "Can you make ultraviolet light?
I
Just
will-
want to see what's on the bed."
lay in my cape on the bed, and then I'll lie on top of my cape.
human
I'm
backpack.
picturing you not lying comfortably, like it's literally just sort of completely
Yeah.
straight, just like
Very
not
rigid.
moving.
Which is why I've woken up when there's a bang next door, and now I'm listening to find out what's going on.
So you make a perception check.
Can I just briefly interject? Is anyone in the party trained in perception?
No.
Literally. Oh, you are. I was kind of there going, God, there's nobody actually.
It's
got...
just weird because you've all got dark vision aside from you as well. So you think, oh, they're quite perceptive. Apparently not.
7.
You heard a brief noise next door. It's quite loud, and it seems to be a conversation happening between two parties, one male, one female.
I'll make a knowing face and go back to bed and pull my ruff up over my ears. Try not to.
He sleeps in the rough. He's rough sleeping.
Way!
So
No.
I want this encounter over
Not
before
acknowledged.
any more things
Sure,
are
sure.
made.
Sure,
So I'm gonna. Carefully choose my-
Just imagine a dude
She-
with a ruff
she-
around
she
his
then-
ears.
So I'm
Say it,
throwing out
Steph.
the
Say it.
It's like a Geordie
finely
the Forge
crafted
visor.
one.
Yes.
The I'm going to present the cockatrice balm and
The what?
5 gold pieces.
Carpentry's balm?
Cockatrice balm.
Oh, balm. Okay.
Balm.
No,
Genuinely.
bad drunk dwarf.
When you pull out the balm, you notice that it's been some time since you've owned it now, and it's gone. It was already a greyish liquid, but you were told it doesn't last that long. And now it's sort
I've still
of
got one. I've still got one cockatrice
Congealed.
left.
The cock balm doesn't last long.
yeah, it's congealed and it's now dulled. It was like shiny before. It's
So
now.
I'm going to go sort of like for the horn, the cockatrice balm. Then I'm just going to be like, and a cockatrice, which I can turn into a balm for you. I hate everyone.
What are you planning? I'm sorry. So a horn and some balm. What are you?
The horn can help
You
stop
can use the balm.
petrification.
I'm not one of those pirates, you know. Besides, that horn is clearly from Rachir. I'm not going to touch that.
What do you want?
I'm
from
sorry,
me?
if somebody comes in here, if one of the Republic guards comes in here, right, and sees me with a Rachir horn, they're going to think I'm a spy. So you want to keep that to yourself, my friend.
Then I've got nothing else to trade.
All right.
I guess you don't. I'm poor. I have 10 gold, dude.
All right. Hey, come back to me anytime. Just remember, rent room 3.
This person with this super aggressive sales technique, a business model that makes no sense, and you manage not to make any kind of
Well,
exchange
I
with
think
this
that's
person.
Just puts his hand out and then trunks.
Oh, hey, but given she hands you 5 gold. Sorry, she hands you a gold. Sorry, to compensate for the room. Sorry. And hey, I'm not going to let one of us have to go poor, so
Very kind.
no problem.
I'm going to open the door for her and let her out.
And you open the door, and she just kind of looks at you with a gig, like, I can do this myself, but all right. And then just goes out the door and closes it foot behind her, pushing your hand while it's still on the door.
I'm going to kill everyone.
Sleep well, and she leaves.
Pirates are weird.
It's a really weird.
Very weird.
So
It
morning.
wasn't that weird before
like-
all of you.
This is a little weird.
Very.
We weren't the ones talking smut.
I wasn't.
They have like negative business sense. Negative. Is there a
Apparently.
stat for business sense? Because that's a minus.
This is why they rob people on high seas.
I'm going to rob it.
Yeah, but they probably like hijack a boat and then go, sorry for bothering you, here's 2 bags of gold, and would you like my jacket? There we go.
So it
Even
turns
though
out,
they're cold.
that the Aardman animated film, The Pirates in an Adventure with Scientists, was a lot more accurate than anyone who watched it thought it was.
I mean, I spent many of my formative years in the southwest of this country, and I can tell you that is entirely accurate. Yes, more pirates came from the southwest. So.
Yep, that's true.
I've got a funny accent.
Yarp.
Oh,
pointless
that'd be. Anyway, the rest of the night goes by relatively uneventful. Morning comes. You actually do hear a cock crow in that really cheesy way, because there's one on the farm. Yeah, and you gradually, one by one, wake up, do your morning ablutions, and make your way over and make your way over to presumably have breakfast in the bar.
Yep. Has the cousin joined? Or is he
Currently,
hungover?
currently no, he's not there. When you wake up, he's still sleeping.
Thank God.
And snoring quite heavily, I might add.
While waiting for everyone's last, I'm going to ask the barmaid if anyone's taken up the offer of a pair of hands for 10 silver.
No, not last night, no. Perhaps I should hold on to it just in case. Somebody comes in.
So about, we're going to head out now, so just go.
You're going to try and take it from her, are you?
It's my... Oh, son of a...
It's a grapple check. Try and grab.
Grapple check.
Oh, sorry.
Sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand, yeah. Sleight of
It's-
hand. Let's make it sleight of hand. That makes more sense.
Sleight of hand.
Wrestle it from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like rogues are well known.
13.
Yeah, okay, you managed it. She goes to move it. Wait, get it first.
Yeah, so we're going to be heading out right now, so we'll take this back since we won't need the offer anymore.
Of course.
Is everyone awake?
I'm down there witnessing this.
Anyone?
Yes, that's for paying me.
Anyone for breakfast at all, or are you?
I would. Could I get something to go?
Of course you can. Would a loaf of bread do?
Fantastic. Of course.
2 copper pieces, please.
2 copper pieces.
Thank you.
Actually, you know what? Can I get 2?
Yes.
Thank you.
There you go. Any water for you at all? Oh, of course. If you we've got a tank outside. If you want to refill your water skins, you know we get a lot of travellers through here. So
Found your tank of water. Well done.
Yay. Is there a bakery in town?
it's no bakery. No. Unfortunately, I think the farmer's not growing wheat this year, but in town. But
So how does your bread exist?
oh, we import it from Morningham.
Oh, imported bread. I'll have a loaf too.
Of course, that's it. Two copper pieces, please.
I'll do that.
I mean, it's not the sweetest of loaves, but it serves a purpose, you know.
What's the purpose?
It's clean, though.
Yes, good.
Good. I'm glad you like
As
that.
was the room.
Good. I'm happy to hear that.
Give her the exact change and no tip.
And she just grins and just takes it.
Rowan, how many people fit on that carriage that we've got?
You could comfortably fit 4 inside. With there's footholds on the back for a foot on each side, and there's enough room on the front for 2.
Okay.
I will take the back because Malar is big. That just free up some space inside.
So we'll lead everyone out to the carriage. So,
So
is anyone a good driver?
Travelling in style.
I mean, got high decks. No good with animals whatsoever. But
I just can't see my animal one doing as well as last time.
I mean, my animal handling's not bad.
Leo, for instance,
Efficiency with vehicles.
I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. I kind of speak to animals on a sort of universal level. Maybe. I don't know how it works. I've not been a monk for very long.
I
don't really understand how
as I'm
this
holding
is.
the reins, I'm sort of going to be like, do you want to drive? So I can
sure.
lead you in the right direction.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
hey.
Yeah.
So you look down and you see there's a halfling. This one in a leather trench coat, with
just one.
just a brown leather trench coat. Just one halfling on her own.
Three.
Long sort of long dark hair with sort of a couple of braids in it. Quite a fierce kind of expression on her face. She's also wearing like a kind of trilby style hat, and has a cigarette rolled up in her hand, and she nods at you, who's got the reins, and says, "You guys new in town? Don't suppose you could do us a favour, could you?
We're on a bit of a time crunch.
Hey, this might be something that would interest you. Have you heard about slaves around here?"
No, can't say we have.
There are slaves around here?
Sounds scary. Yeah, well, I got my suspicions about some illegal activities going on in the vicinity. And she nods over to the manufactory behind her. The warehouse.
And you were trying to stop this?
I am conducting some investigations for a client of mine, yes.
It's a wise
Well, I'm looking...
To stop this?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
Of course, it's an illegal operation and it needs to be shut down, and the guard ain't doing nothing, so...
The
Your
last-
stereotypical
you're
mobster
not-
voices.
You were not very clear
That guy's just a
at the
wise
beginning. It sounded like you might be like looking for some, and I was just making sure.
Do I look like the kind of person who's not going to do stuff themselves?
Can I insight check that?
Of course you can.
17.
Yeah, she is a... Yeah, she would do everything herself. She was not one to be messed with, this halfling. She's fierce, not just in her demeanour, but you can tell that it's not just a bark. She has a bite. She looks like she's there for business, as in she knows what her business is. She's very sure of herself and carries herself as such, and isn't one to mess around. Yeah, if I could borrow you fellas, it'd be real helpful to help me with my investigations. I'm kind of drawing a bit of a blank here, so maybe we can talk somewhere a bit more private if you want to follow me. We can make sure the carriage is well kept in the meantime.
We're on a bit of a time crunch to get to some people behind some boulders that have
There's
collapsed.
some
in the
people
cup.
trapped in a rockfall.
Yeah.
A rockfall, you say? Well, you know
Yes, but quieter.
you know what they're working. Sorry, you know what they're working on in the manufactory, though, don't you?
Rocks?
What?
No, not rocks, you idiot. They're working on a stone breaker.
Ooh!
It's a bit of heavy machinery to help with the mining efforts. I will tell you more about this if you maybe go somewhere a bit more private. All of yous.
We've already got a bit of a rock breaker. Should we call it the magical pyromaniac?
Or perhaps if you can all fit inside that carriage, we can maybe talk in there. 'Cause
Are we going?
The rock breaker may be of some use. I think we should hear this young lady out.
None of
Yeah.
you are.
Thank you kindly, good sir.
None of you are secretly slavers, are you?
No.
Secretly, I mean, no.
Not recently.
Taken Malar Shakebreak of the Eight. I am, of course, my credentials are
Of course,
speak for themselves.
it's none of my business. I'm just employed to do a job. So if any of you are slavers, it's none of my business. But
No, I'm
but-
just checking that you weren't secretly like leading us to somewhere to capture us.
To become, yeah.
good one. Yes, real funny.
I would like to open the door to the carriage. Miss, shall we?
Shallows, Kelly Shallows. A pleasure. Climbs inside. Callie, C-A-L-L-I-E.
Well-
Shallows as in shallow water.
While she walks past and get into the carriage, can I do a perception check of around us to see if anyone's
Yeah,
watching?
yeah, sure.
Particularly from the west, the warehouse area.
Yeah, cool. 10. No one that you can see. There's across the other side of the road opposite to the warehouse. There are various farmhands going about their daily jobs, but none of them seem to be paying too much attention to you guys.
So who's gone in the carriage with her? Because you always say if it's 4.
Mm-hmm.
Then she gets
Can't
I'm
do
going to
that.
stand outside at the door.
It comfortably fits 4 medium, so humans. I mean, obviously a halfling's a bit smaller. So
I'd prefer to stand outside and just keep an eye out of the area. I'm particularly watching the warehouse area to see if anyone's coming from over there.
Okay, cool. Makes sense.
I'll ride in with Miss Shallows.
I thought you might.
Where's the catering for that?
It's relatively well adorned. It's like the soft cushions inside, but it has been exposed to the elements for a couple of days. It's not in its cleanest state, just so you know.
Nicely adorned for a stolen carriage.
That's
I'm
off
just
the...
looking for some travel that isn't completely rough, so I'll jump in the carriage very happily.
Space for one more. You going in? You going in?
I'll just park out. I'll park out.
How about you, handsome? You want to come inside?
Can she get in by herself?
She's already inside.
Oh,
yeah.
she's in. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine. I was going to offer her toss, if you will. Yeah. No, I'll
Toss the halfling.
Toss the
It's not so much of
halfling.
he will as
I
if
didn't
she
get you
will.
going. Can I help you? Thank you. In the carriage.
No, just one-handed. by the scruff.
Okay, right. So I guess this will have to do then.
And I mean, we are the people you just asked to get in the carriage.
I meant as in the surroundings, my good fellow. So, how much do you guys know about this Cold War that's going on between Bjorkrin and the Dragonborn Kingdom of Richia? You know much about that? Oh,
Not enough.
Not enough.
I
Like
do,
no
but I'm
more.
not in there.
Indeed, that I heard your name in reference to that.
Did you indeed?
Yes.
Hey, did you? I don't suppose you came across subtle services in Morninil at all, did you?
Yes. You weren't there.
No,
You're here.
doing my investigation, which is
What services?
what?
What was
Subtle
subtle
services.
services?
Well,
Harry
okay.
Shallows of Subtle Services.
Maybe I can
And
give
we'll
you.
learn in the equivalent.
Maybe I should give you a brief kind of overview of the situation. Okay, so we got the Bjorkin Republic. That's where we are. Okay, all right. Halfrach is part of the.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yes, yes.
right.
Just,
Yes,
just
you-
from
is
outside the carriage, like, yeah, we're
Like
here.
Right.
like a
okay,
call and
well,
response
I'm-
thing. You say a thing, we say yes, we know it.
Yeah, that's where we are.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
right. So, okay, Dragonborn Kingdom. You know where that is?
Yes.
Just across the border, across the mountains, right?
Okay.
No,
Okay, right. Yeah. Whatever. Anyway,
That way.
so these two guys, right, neighbors, locked in, sort of a conflict, but like a non-open conflict. Yeah, a Cold War, we call it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's happened, but this Cold War is happening both above ground and below, right? So above ground, we got a lot of the Republic Guard, like along the borders of the around the mountaintops, making sure that none of the Dragonborn come across, like spies and stuff, right? Okay, with me so
Yeah,
far?
yes.
Right. Okay. So, also both sides are working below ground too, because these mountains, right? They're full of natural resources and minerals and stuff, right? And riches. Okay. So they're both trying to stake claim over the mountains, over the inside the mountains, and get all these resources out before the other side does. So it's basically like a race to the bottom, if you will, right? So 6 months ago, the Republic is looking to expand their mining efforts, right? So they start employing more smiths, woodworkers, and miners, and that sort of thing to like redouble their efforts, right? So, wanting to make their mining more efficient, they start looking to employ more mechanical kind of things, right? And it just so happens 2 months ago that the Halfrach manufactory, of which is just behind me, right, won a contract to produce a stone breaker, I may have mentioned, right? It's basically like, from what I can tell, some sort of siege equipment that's been like modified to be useful for mining operations. I think they maybe use some kind of like enchanted metal or steel or something to like help pierce through the rocks. And I don't know the minutiae of how this is made, right? But that is essentially what they are doing, right? So they won this contract. You think, hey, great, this is going to be a great boost for the economy and all that sort of thing, right? Wrong. A week later, the manufactory closes down, and all the workers are put out of business. They're put out of work, right? They're all laid off. So that's why, you may not have seen, but the folks aren't too happy here. There's a load on the farm, and I think a few went homeless, and couple of others worse things happened to, but you know, these things happen, right?
What worse things?
They went out on the street and they died. They starved to death. Couldn't get any work.
How long ago?
A
was
horrible
this?
business. This
Like
is
a
all-
week?
No, this was like a month ago.
Oh,
All right. Anyway, so a week later, closes down. You with me now, right? So close down.
that
down.
was the week. That was the
Yeah, closed down, right? Then another week or so goes by, and then suddenly it starts operating again. But this time,
ghosts.
the workers ain't going. I appreciate your enthusiasm. If you interrupt me again, I'm going to take a dagger and I'm going to put it straight in your kneecap. All right? Okay.
Leo Brum puts his hand over his knees.
Right. So it opens up again, but the workers this time ain't going in or out. Nobody sees them, right? And so there seems to be some kind of shady deal over there. My employer seems to reckon that perhaps these new workers they got there have been imported slaves, right? And I'm pretty certain that that could well be the case. I've seen some of the guards they got patrolling inside there, and they ain't bureaucrat residents. I mean, you don't see cat people around here much, okay? Half-orcs, you get a few of them, but cat people, that's a whole different ballgame. That's like Iskin territory, you know what I'm saying? So, so anyway, I've been employed to get some evidence that there has been this misappropriation, and unfortunately, the problem I'm having is that I can't get in there. It's pretty well guarded, right? They got spikes along the walls. They got the shop, which is alarmed, by the way. I found that out the hard way. All right, and you got the back door with the dogs, and that's all I can see so far. I mean, I'm 3 foot tall. I can't jump over the walls. It's not going to happen. But
You hear my voice from outside. It's never stopped me.
Great. That should come in useful. So anyway, what I need is some cold hard evidence, right, that this has been going on, because the guard ain't doing nothing, and I think that perhaps they might be in the pockets of the of this guy, right? Pat Galwright, he's the proprietor, if you will, of the manufactory. He seems to be pulling all the strings around here, and without sufficient evidence, my employer isn't going to consider the contract fulfilled. So apparently, just finding people who claim to be slaves ain't enough. So what I reckon is, he's a businessman, right? This Pat Galwright's a businessman, so he's got to have records, right? A ledger of his ingoings and outgoings. Now, I happen to think that there are more of these slaves being brought in every couple of weeks or so. And there's got to be proof of that somewhere, like he's got to be paying for these things, so surely there'll be some sort of irregularity in terms of payment on his books, probably using a pseudonym or something like that, because nobody's going to write slaves in their ledger, especially when it gets checked by government officials, am I right? So if you can get inside the warehouse and get to the office and find a ledger, I'm sure that that's going to have enough evidence for my employer to be happy. I'll be willing to, of course, compensate you. You can take a cut of my fee. Say 100 gold pieces. That sounds good.
Per person? Lovely.
No, 100 total. I'm not made of money. Don't even check out these garbs here, but yeah. Is this something that may be of interest to you?
Well, I'm all for helping people. If it would be a quick job, and it is literally this structure here, I'm sure we could check this out.
I agree.
You know, it still gives us plenty of time to get to the rockfall, and this device may be of assistance.
What's the name of the proprietor again?
It's Pat Galwright. Sorry, you're asking the DM. Sorry. Pat Galwright.
Pat Galwright.
As in Ghoul writes in G-A-L.
G-A-L.
So she
And then
wants
writes with a W.
to break in and steal the ledger.
But, yep.
Yeah, the top
Simple
word
as
needs
that.
to be bigger.
So just private notes.
Plans being made.
Uh,
Notes being.
How many slaves are inside?
We need evidence of.
To be honest, I couldn't be sure, but last I counted, there were maybe half a dozen of them.
You can move rocks really quickly with half a dozen slaves.
Oh,
Half a dozen free men.
Yeah.
Slaves work quicker.
I just want to check again.
That's the thought.
Like I said,
you're the paladin. Yeah.
Do they?
Atheist paladin.
Well, hey, like I said, ain't none of my
Paladins don't
business
need
what
a
you guys
god,
do
they
with
just
that
need a moral
information.
code.
Yeah.
And hey, as well as the 100 gold pieces, I'll turn a blind eye to you guys. Maybe taking the Stonebreaker out for a spin. You know, if that's gonna be of use to you.
How fast does it go?
This
I mean, it
could
needs to be
a
pulled by
great
horses.
benefit.
It's not particularly quick, but because you know it's just on wheels. It's not powered
Okay,
per se.
I would hate to think that I would speak for others, but I would say you've got a deal.
Marvelous.
Far be it for me to accept an offer on behalf of a group of people, but yes, you're it.
You, my good friend, you wouldn't happen to be a man of the cloth, would you?
Oh, yes, yes, hello. My name is Malar Deacon, Malar Shade Creek of the Eight. I am pleasure to meet you.
And to you as well, of course. I don't suppose you've spoken to the deacon here by any chance, have you?
And who is the deacon here? No, I'm not.
Oh,
I'm
it's
not.
Madless Underhill. He's the deacon of the Shrine to Roosh. It's just underneath the you know the watchtower. There's a set of stairs going down from there. There's a shrine down there. More folks been going there a lot these days. What with the current situation. Hey, if if you're looking for healing and stuff and helping people, he's your guy.
Noted, thank you.
She pulls out a fresh, starts lighting it
So
with a little tinderbox.
Ledger's in that warehouse. So
Blows at you.
the ledger's in that warehouse then.
I smile at that.
Yeah,
The
I'd
one
assume
with-
it would be.
The one with the guard dogs.
Yeah, I mean,
My spells out.
look, I don't think that Pat Galwright's going to be keeping his ledger in his home address. That's at Galwright Manor. You may have seen that large house over there with the.
Do you know any
outside the
ways in
compound.
other than this big door?
So the way I sees it, from what I could deduce so far, there's the hopping over the walls. There's going through the shop or going across the roof of the shop because they ain't got no spikes on the roof. There's going through the service entrance. That's the gate.
Yep.
That's about it. Oh, of course, if you got the right equipment, you could kind of rappel yourself. Like if you can get maybe a grappling hook or something into one of those small windows in the you see that building right in the corner over there. If you can get a grappling hook maybe inside one of those little windows, they got iron bars on them. So if you can get it in there, you can climb up because I'm pretty sure that's a flat roof, and that'll give you a great view of the whole complex, right? So if you can get yourself on top of that building there, you got a great way in, nice and easy. It's maybe an 8 feet drop.
Too many options. Let's just kill everyone.
Oh,
Other
no,
than that, I
right,
mean,
that's-
you have to
I
go.
didn't sign up for that.
The only other
forget,
thing is
yeah.
going underground, and I don't see how you can get underground around here. So there's only earth in the yard, so I got no ways of getting underground. So
The men in the bar last night, they all work there, don't they?
most of them, yeah. No, wait, none of the manufacturers. They work at the farm.
Okay, so everyone that works there is there now
Yeah.
in the warehouse.
So see
Nobody seems to come in or out besides Pat Galwright himself.
And guards? You said guards?
Ah, yeah.
How many of these? Sorry, was that cat-like?
There's a
Guards?
couple of cat people, yes. From what I could see, I've been keeping a vigil on this place for a while, but usually I'm watching from the tower up there, and yeah, I didn't go up there last night, but I went up there this morning, and it was had a bit of a stench, you know what I'm saying, a bit of a stank. Anyway, from what I've been able to deduce when I've been up there, maybe there's I've probably spotted maybe 4 or 5 guards. Of course, they got the dogs as well. I've seen I think they got like 4 dogs.
So cat guards and guard dogs.
They surprisingly get on. Who'd have thunk it, right?
It's because the cats get along with the guards, and the guards get along with the dogs.
That is an astute observation, my friend.
If their names are the wrong way around, oh, danger.
It'd be safe to say the handlers probably ain't the cat folk, but you know, they're there.
Magic people. Can you teleport us? What do you do?
I'm going to go ahead right and now and say the answer is no, they cannot do that.
I don't know what
Level
magic people do.
Not at level 2 max.
Oh, my guy has no idea what magic does. Super impressed.
Oh, so,
by it.
I give you inspiration for keeping in character there. I love it. You've been doing it for the last couple of sessions, so if you haven't got inspiration, you can do it.
Last time I tried,
Well, he's seen your hands
so well. So
I've seen your hands glow. I literally think you can murder all of us.
Not on purpose.
That's plausible. It's the teleporting thing specifically that's out of bounds here.
If you close your eyes and then open them again 6 seconds later, I can probably be about 6 seconds away.
That's amazing. I need to roll for amazement. I'm slightly amazed.
Did you say you can produce fire from your bare hands? Is that right?
Technically.
Could you do us a favor? And
not a cigarette.
no, you can just
Alright,
do it.
so I just
a bit of
Is that a new
prestidigitation.
cigarette?
So my hand starts turning red again, and
Can
see
you
like
target
the
an
heat.
object?
So you see the heat wave. The
Well, I
come
assume that
out,
with prestidigitation you can like make little
Oh,
sparks.
prestidigitation,
and
yes.
just go.
Yeah, see, I'd have gone like that and just do like.
That's real impressive. I'm gonna remember you.
If you think that's impressive, and I will thermatology the embers, and it just burns down the cigarette.
I was starting to like you.
Well,
That was my last cigarette.
But now you will definitely remember us.
Quite.
Yep, that's definitely been imprinted on my.
We don't need to fight everyone.
And make some
We
sparkling
don't need to
lights.
kill
Look,
them.
we can all do this.
We need to get them out of the building
Turns up the
while
room.
we
the
find
holes.
the book. So, from that display, can you guys make a very big distraction somewhere?
Yes. I'm very good at that. And you're gonna be useful.
So maybe towards the entrance with the door, with the big door that has the
Are the
dogs behind it.
dogs are in one place and the cats are in another place?
I think the cats are walking the dogs.
It's so strange out here.
It's the apocalypse.
I
Cats
think
and
the
dogs
cat
living
people are
together.
guards, and they've got the guard dogs just with
Cats
them.
and the dogs are together.
I'll let you guys figure out the.
Are the cats and the dogs all together, or are they in separate bits?
Yeah, I'm gonna you've got all the information you need. I'm gonna get well back. I'll be up in the tower though, keeping an eye on things.
Oh. Okay.
Meanwhile, Brucon has been listening to the entire thing sat on the roof of the carriage, and at that point, just kind of pops his head, sort of hanging from the roof upside down, just kind of pops his head through and goes, "Right, well, I can get up on that roof that she was talking about." And just kind of just ignore her completely, just kind of pop my head in and go, "Oh, hello."
And she just kind of pushes past you, gets out of the carriage, and goes, "Good luck."
Yeah.
You're gonna need it.
I can nip up onto that roof there if we think that'd be useful.
I was going to say, we originally asked you guys to help us with the stonefall, but
Well,
are you guys able to help us in this situation?
Yeah, sure.
She said distraction.
What can you
and
do?
this is paying, so
Fire speed.
I can resolve philosophical conflicts. I can demonstrate the meaning of truth and whether it is synonymous with beauty, and I can kick a person so hard that their eyeballs explode.
I've got a great skill set. This, we need those.
when
Am I in?
You're in.
Outstanding.
this you can burn things wholesale.
I mean, it depends.
At a discount.
I mean, sometimes the flames are bigger than expected, sometimes not. I can certainly try.
Is there anything else you can?
I can move things without touching them. I can make sparks happen. Just But maybe the fire. The fire
Glossing over the
happens.
telekinesis. And going straight to
I
sparkle.
mean, if I just a word of warning, I do get a little moody when the fire comes out, so just don't get too freaked out. Or do it. If the flames get too big, run. But other than that, you're fine.
I'm just kind of like,
Are you
Okay.
What can you do to?
I mean, I can make some fire too. It doesn't really do much, but I can make some fire.
Same way, or like
I don't.
the box and a torch.
I mean, I can do it with the magic.
Okay.
Magics.
okay, that
So
narrows things down significantly.
We didn't know you were magic.
We know nothing.
Oh, I can put things asleep.
Oh.
Like dogs.
Now that's useful.
You can try.
I mean, sure. Just
Cool.
most things. I just.
I sense a formulation of a plan.
Yeah, I've got an idea of what people can do now. I think we can work. We can work with explosions, sleepings, and kidney punches.
We all huddle in and start to strategize.
So as you start to strategize now, it's 5 to 9, and where people have places to be. So did you want to postpone this till next time, or yeah?
If that's okay.
Okay. So you huddle in, go to strategize. You formulated a plan. You think
There we go.
of how to possibly liberate slaves, get a book, and get your hands on some nifty gear. So we'll pick that up next time. That's next week here on Slice and Dice, guys.
Maybe it'll be that dirty
Like you
again.
said,
It may not involve urine.
So first session, guys. I know there's no combat today, but even so, lots of interesting thematic stuff. A lot of pub time, a lot of rest. You're obviously no longer exhausted because of the rest. I've got to say. Yeah, all good. Hope you enjoyed.
No longer stink of pee.
You no longer think of peace, so things are looking up.
I think
The bright
I
side.
don't know what's happened today.
I loved it. It
It
was
all got
brilliant.
so out of
It was,
hand.
yeah, it was very good.
How
It was
happy are you that encounter is over?
So happy.
Or counter, whatever, that moment.
Happy ending, to be honest.
And on that note, thank you all very much. So yeah, we'll be here same time next week. That's 6 p.m. Monday.
Bad time.
Here for the next episode. But I will be back on Friday with a campaign diary all about what's been going on today and what's going on a little bit behind the scenes as well.
Gloss over stuff.
Gloss over some things.
Yeah,
All right.
a lot of them.
There'll be a lot of detail. So that'll be at 5 p.m. on Friday. Join me for that. And till then, all of these guys, all of the players have been their characters and hopefully have fun while doing it. I've been DMing and I've had a great time. And we'll see you next time. Thank you and good night.